I'm Rebecca of Pocketful of Posies. Today's project is a fun project. It's inspired by Miss Snappy Dragon's hashtag yesterday's pajamas. Several of us costumers decided to participate in this challenge, and I decided to make a Victorian wrapper dress. Now, wrapper dresses were more casual wear, if you will, basically just hanging out around the house, like we wear our PJs today. Okay, so it's a little too small. I had already added about an inch on each side of the front openings, so I'm gonna add, I think, another inch to each side, because that will give me the space to turn it for the facing. It is worn over a bustle, so I think the back is fine. Or if I do a smaller seam allowance here, that will give me an extra ½ inch there, and then I'll make the darts a little bit smaller and add another inch to the front, and that should give me enough room for it to fit correctly. I didn't actually have enough of the fashion fabric. It was a remnant, and that was all there was to cut out the entire garment. So I cut the pattern at the top ruffle line. I also cut out the pattern in a lining material, a cotton voile that I had. I flatlined all of the pieces so that the lining and the outer fabric are now treated as one piece. The back piece is cut on the fold, but there is a seam from the neck down to the waist in the center back, so I pinned that, and I also pinned the side seams up before taking it to the machine to sew. And then with some help from Lucius, I sewed the center back seam and the side seams. After I sewed the back piece to the side pieces, I pinned the contrasting fabric to the bottom of that, and I sewed that on. I decided to use a zigzag stitch on all of the open portions, the front, the center front, the bottom, the pieces, just to keep things from unraveling. I took my front pieces and marked and sewed the darts. And then we are having a moment of silence and grief. I thought, nearing the end of my Hufflepuff wrapper, and I sewed my darts in, and I went to pin on this extra bit on the bottom of the front pieces, and realized, I don't know why I did not realize, I don't know. I'm so sad. realized I cut both of the front pieces the same direction. And not that once it was cut there was anything I'd do, but I mean, I sewed the darts, I did all of this, only to realize that these pieces are the exact same direction and they need to be opposites, and I'm out of fabric. I cannot recut it. So I cannot make this wrapper in this lovely fabric. I love it so much, and I bought it. It was a remnant. There was only, I mean, there wasn't even enough of it to do the whole thing. Remember, I had to put, you know, cut it shorter and add the black around the bottom. And I'm so sad. I don't have enough black fabric either to recut, but that would look stupid to have plaid in the back and black in the front. Just realized I was showing my bra too. It's a red letter day, guys. So I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I'm going to look through my fabric and see if I have anything I can use. I may have some just plain black fabric, but I really didn't want it. I didn't want to make it in black. I wanted it to be, I mean, I don't want it to look like I'm in mourning. I mean, I'm using black because of its Hufflepuff color, but I have some black wool, but I don't know. So that's the situation. Yeah, I don't know what else to do. I'm going to have a think about it. Okay, I have come up with a solution. It may not be the most amazing looking, but I cut a new armhole, arm side. I cut the curved edge of the wrong piece straight, and then I took the excess off of that and I'm going to sew it on to the straight side. Now, it may not be perfect. The plaid may not be perfect, but it is what it is, and it's what I can do. And then I added, or I'm going to add, I should say, this insert with black, the black material right here. I'm going to put some trim or lace, or haven't decided yet, to kind of break it up a little bit. Or, I mean, it's already broken up, but I don't know, to give it a little extra interest so it doesn't look just like I slapped a piece of black material on there because I made a mistake, which I did. So I think it's gonna work, so fingers crossed. I found a small piece and I think I have made it work, so I don't have to do the contrasting trim or the contrasting piece. The plaid is not perfect. It does not exactly match up, but I'm going to add some trim around here to hide that, hopefully. So Here we go. So, Hufflepuffs are nothing if not hardworking. And so I soldiered on, putting my Frankenstein wrapper dress together. Here's hoping. I feel like the mock-up was completely pointless now because all of the piecing and everything that had to go into this. I think it's going to work, guys. Check back there. Kitty. It is. I mean, it is meant to be worn over a bustle. So I think it being slightly loose in the back is fine, as long as it's not too loose through here, which does not seem to be the case. I'm gonna pull that in a little bit more. I think we're good. I think it's going to be just fine. Oh, yay. Relief. Next, I moved on to making ruffles. I used plaid ruffles and a wider width black ruffle. Then I took the sleeve pieces and sewed those together. I added a plaid ruffle to the wrist of the sleeves, and then I took it to the machine and sewed it on. Next, I decided to add some lace to the cuffs, or to the sleeves, just for some extra. And I think it turned out really pretty. Then I turned the center front in by an inch, and then another inch, and I sewed that down both sides of that, creating the button placket. I used a cheery yellow wide grosgrain ribbon to cover the raw edges of the ruffles and to add, a little bit of fun whimsy. Just wanted to put it on one more time before I do all the finishing and put the sleeves on and all of that, because I took in the back seam just a little bit. I've got my corset pretty tight right now. So I wanted to make sure, if I wanted to lace it a little bit tighter, that it wouldn't look too baggy. And here's what it looks like across the back without the bustle. Got the bustle underneath. I haven't sewn my trim down yet. That's why it's just hanging here. So all in all, the Frankensteining of this pattern, you know, due to my own mistakes and all of that, ended up in a very uneven hemline. I think it's just that, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure where the step was that I made the big mistake at least for the hemline. I know where the step was where I made the big mistake for the front piece. Now I'm sewing the sleeves on. I made a valiant effort to have a correct collar this time on this garment, but it was no go. I decided to do something different. Now for finishing all of those raw edges, I took the fast and lazy way out and zigzagged all of the raw edges that I had left. Okay. So we are held together with pens. With all the setbacks with everything. And then the collar, I tried several different times to do the collar correctly, and I just could not get it to work. I think because of the piecing and things just did not end up the right way. Also, I'm having the trouble that I think it is too short. It was at this point I stopped filming because it was getting crunch time. It was Thursday morning and today's Friday for the video coming out. So yeah, I made a quick and dirty smaller bustle pad. So I still had the bustle look, but it's not as big as the one I had already made. I added some extra lace to the bottom hem in the back to help with the length, and I called it done. Final thoughts for this project. I did like it for the most part. I do like it for the most part, I should say. And I would probably make this again and hopefully not make the same mistakes that I made before. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20. And as a Hufflepuff, and to quote my dear friends, the Blibbering Humdingers, I think it's good enough. There's no shame in Hufflepuff. So, it's definitely not long enough. I might add an extra row of ruffles on the bottom because it definitely is not long enough. It doesn't cover my petticoat. So that might be a future project, kind of fixing this up. But despite all of the trouble I had making this and the mistakes I made and the just general craziness of it, I am pleased with it, and I think it's cute, and you know, it's my yesterday's pajamas Victorian loungewear. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again. And we have some exciting things coming up in the CosTube community. We have CocoVid coming up, which is online costume college, and I will be presenting something for that as well. And so I hope you all tune into that. On Instagram, follow the CosTube guide, and that will give you all the information you need about upcoming CosTube videos, as well as CocoVid happening at the very end of July. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more of my sewing adventures, and check out my Wizard Rock pals, the Blibbering Humdingers. definitely check out the Yesterday's Pajamas playlist. I'll see you next time.